we're on. This is the Let's Talk Cheer podcast, and I'm your host, Jason Larkins, where we talk cheer, we talk life, and we talk whatever comes to mind. 5, 6, 7, 8, let's get started.
Turn it up, you tuning into Let's Talk Cheer with Jason Larkins. We're talking cheer, we're talking like you know we're always talking. So listen up, you boy, I'm about to go all in. 5, 6, 7, 8, we're on, let's begin.
This is episode number 89. Not sure if there's going to be a 90, but thank you for joining. We have a great episode for you guys today. Today we have on Matt Freakin Kelley, owner of Karma Returns, coach at Woodlands Elite, and quite simply, he is the man. If it's your first time here, thank you for checking out the show. I truly appreciate all of our new listeners. You'll definitely want to subscribe so that you never miss out on another episode. And we've been on YouTube for a few weeks now, so if you're joining us on YouTube, welcome to the show and thank you. Shout out to my mother, Sheila, Claire, Sarah, Robin, Adriana, Chanel, Tamara, myself, my mysterious supporter, Heather Peterson of Flipside, Pablo, and our newest mate, Michelle. Thank you for all your donations. Our show is better because of you. And if you want to financially support the show, link in the show notes, link in the description. And if you're wondering how you can support the podcast without actually donating money, the best way to do that is simply share the podcast. Send it to a friend, send it to another coach, post it on your social media. That really helps out the channel. Don't forget to smash the like button. If you could do that, it would really, really mean a lot to me. Any of the above, share it, like button, anything that you can do. Speaking of sharing on your social media, we have our Instagram giveaway winner, and this was randomly selected using our random name selector. That's why I say the more shares, the more entries, and the winner is Brittany Wandrash. I hope I said that right. I already DM'd her to let her know, and I had such a great time chatting with Liberty Athletics, our original winners, that we're going to keep the giveaway going. I'm giving away a free coaches training. We'll hop on a Zoom call, me and the other coaches in your gym, and we will talk some cheer, and I'm giving this all away for free. If you're a parent, right, not a coach or an owner, you can still enter to win on behalf of your gym. All you have to do to win is share the podcast on your Instagram story, right? Take a screenshot of the podcast, share it on your Instagram story, and tag me in the post at JasonLarkins. That's it. Share the podcast on your IG story, tag me in the post, and you're entered to win. The winner will be announced in episode number 95. The more shares, the more entries, so get to sharing right now. I'm the cheer director at American Cheer, AKSC.com, sharing with you my life, running a program, managing a staff, coaching the athletes, and working with the parents. And on the other side of the microphone is a longtime friend, industry leader, and again, he is the man, Matt Freakin Kelley. Matt Freakin Kelley, what's good, man?
What's going on, man?
Dude, chilling. Glad we set this up. But I ask you this first. Matt Freakin Kelley, where's this come up? Where's the freaking come in there? How we get this handle?
I thought about this last night too. I was like laying in bed and I was like, I feel like they're gonna ask where this came from. And I think what it was is like in the cheer world when I was cheering everything, there's so many Matts. There was like Matt McGrath, Matt Brown, and I wanted to be a good tumbler like him. And every team I've been on always has at least one, if not two more Matts. So I've always been referred to as, hey, Matt Kelley. So I was like, you know what? Whenever I made my Instagram name, I was like, I'm going to put Freakin there so it just stands out more. So I've just kind of kept up with it.
All right, so let's start at the beginning, man. How'd this whole cheer thing start for you?
So my brother and I, when our parents got divorced, we would go to daycare in the summer, and it was a very basic, like your regular daycare. And as we got older, we just weren't a fan of it. So we asked our mom to put us in something more active. So she took us to a gymnastics gym called Northwest All Stars, and they had a day camp, and we went there and kind of just started watching some of those people flip, some of their gymnastics kids flip. And we just, being boys, just started chunking stuff and figuring out. And then the owner asked us to be on the team.
And how old are you at that time?
Oh, man. I would guess somewhere in the 10 to 12 range, maybe. It's been so
Yeah.
long, but yeah, probably 10 to 12.
Yeah, that's a good. Yeah, I started cheer when I was 16, and I always wish I would have started cheer earlier. Like, man, I would have been so much better if I would have started cheer. That's why you're so legit. Yeah, starting that early, being in gymnastics gym. So, okay, so you start this
It took a
gymnastics
while.
gym.
Sorry, I'm eating my kolache. I didn't. I feel like we got into cheer probably by 13 or 14, but
Hmm.
it took me. I think the extent of my talent at that gym was a tuck, and by the time I was
Hmm.
15, we ended up going to Texas Lone Star Cheer. And when I got there with people like Tristan and Glenn and Michael Knight was one of our coaches and Chris Muniz, like everybody, no matter how what your size was, boy wise, had like a standing full and could co-ed, like really co-ed. So I had such a long way to go and to catch up to just be average around those type of people.
Yeah, I definitely remember you guys because I was on. I cheered at California All Stars. I think we were seniors together, same year. What year did you graduate high school?
03?
Yeah, I graduated 03 because I remember our senior year. I was at Cali, you were on Texas, and we went to NCA that year. Y'all went to UCA, but my
Mm-hmm.
sister cheered at Champion, and they went to UCA that year. So I went to UCA, and that's when I met Tristan there. I don't remember meeting you, but I remember meeting Tristan and being like, "Oh, there's like another like legit large co-ed team," because most programs, like the boys like really just weren't that good. So it was really cool to see another like really good large co-ed team. And yeah, then we met up a couple years later, HPU. So how did that actually happen? How did you decide? Why did you decide to go to HPU?
So at that point, I'll reverse a little bit. So, or do you want me to talk about University of Houston a little bit?
Dude, either one. Because so here we go. That is something I am meaning to ask you. So we already established we graduated high school 2003 together. We were at HPU kind of for a minute, but then you cheered at University of Houston, or you at least competed with them. Tell me how that actually worked.
So there was a loophole that Sean, the coach, had found. So we were seniors in high school, and it was like me, Tristan, Glenn, and another guy named Matt Hill. And he enrolled us in the band class because it was all under the Spirit organization. So he enrolled us in band. And so
Mm-hmm.
we never had to go to it. But by that theory, we were in the University of Houston. We were students. So our
Crazy.
senior year, we were all cheering. And then after that, I graduated and I ended up cheering there 2 more years at University of Houston. And then I was dating a girl, and we had some friends out at HPU, like Matt Brown was there, Sierra was there, and the girl I was dating back then was like, "I want to go to Hawaii Pacific. Like, or do you want to go? What do you want to do?" And I was like, you know what? Like, I was coaching back then at Texas, but I was like, why not? It's free, free scholarship, like education. They always win, so just kind of packed or tried out, did the camp in the summer, packed my bags and left.
Owners, directors, coaches, we are in comp season now. So if you're looking for a second set of eyes as you're gearing up for your big events, I'd love to help out. You send me a video of your routine and I send you a video back of your routine with what I would fix and how I would fix it. Teams I've done this for have gone on to be world champions, NCAA All-Star champions, NCAA collegiate champions, summit champions, and D2 summit champions. So if this sounds like something you'd be interested in, you can reach me via email at JasonLarkins, or you can reach me on Instagram at JasonLarkins, or on the Let's Talk Cheer podcast Instagram, Let's Talk Cheer podcast.
And we've all been close. All the cousins, there's 13 of us, have been raised together every pretty much weekend celebrating birthdays and events. And I had worked at Texas, and as like at that point, I think I was 20 years old. And back then money was a little bit different, but I was making like great money coaching, doing my private lessons and stuff, kind of living the life. And when she brought it up, I was like, you know what? Like Hawaii sounds fun. And I was good back then. And I think at that point I had cheered on, I did Cheetahs, which was open 6 back then, which would be 7 now. Just met a lot of people in the cheer world. And I was like, I kind of want to go and see if I can, meet some more and hopefully win some titles. And then of course, like it's Hawaii. So who turns down Hawaii? And so I just kind of no-brained it and was like, yeah, screw it. I'm going.
There we go. All right, so tell me about your experience at HP. Real quick, tell me what you studied, and then tell me, well, real quick, what did you study?
Public relations.
Word. Good stuff, man.
Yeah.
How was that? You liked the degree? Not like it? Regret it? Would you go do something different?
I was struggling to figure out what pathway I wanted to go. I had no idea. Like I liked CSI, so my cousin suggested criminal justice. Did the class, hated it. Did some sort of law class, hated that. Like, I was struggling with it. And Adam Yates, my teammate and roommate, was like, "Yo, I'm doing public relations. You're good with people. I think you should, if you're struggling figuring out what you want to do, I think you should do that." So I was like, you know what? Like, I'll try it, and kind of got into it, and he kind of helped me through it, and it ended up being my major.
Yeah. So how do you feel like you use it? Do you use it every day? Don't use it?
I think so. I feel that I'm a people person, even though I have a clutch in my mouth. I speak well. Um, I can be in any sort of environment and kind of talk to people, whoever they are, how they talk. I can kind of relate to them, and that's what PR is, relating to the public. I think more or less PR is always brought up as like when something goes wrong, you bring in the PR company or the PR agent, and they try to handle it for the company. I don't know if I would do it to that degree, but I think it does help me with talking to the kids I coach and parents and things of that nature.
Yeah. All right. So let's get back on to cheerleading. So you're at HPU. You guys win an absurd amount of titles. And here's actually what I want to ask you about. So you've been gone for HPU for 10 plus years now. And you look back at the program, and the program, I know Ryan Johnson's there now, but let's say prior to this year, the program isn't what it used to be. So how does that make you kind of, do you feel some type of way? Like, what's it like to look back at this program that you helped build, that was like, a household name, winning NCAA every year, to being, not that same program?
It sucked, like, because for me and for a lot of our friends, it was like the time of our life. And to go there, everybody, no matter who you were on the three teams, because there was large, small, and all girl, had 80% or 100% scholarship my first year, maybe 2 years. I can't remember. And rings were paid for. It was just, everything was paid for. And it made sense because the program won. And as the years were going on, my second year, my third year went from like 100 to like 180, 50, 25. And then it got to where some people had none, and we were having to sell more calendars, which is fine. So I could kind of tell the program, for whatever reason, because I don't think the other sports there were like just winning to the degree we were. And people were coming to the program to be out of the way for the cheer. So it kind of sucked. And then they switched the mascot, which a bunch of us had like got the Sea Warrior, which is the same mascot. It's Sea Warrior is a shark, but like, to change the name to Shark would be like changing the Georgia Bulldogs to the Georgia Chihuahuas or something. Like, it doesn't make any sense. So some people were kind of mad about that. And even when I go to the website and I want to buy some shirts or buy like my daughter, my wife a shirt, I like struggle to press the buy button because it says Shark instead of Sea Warrior. So I get a little pissed at that. But I love what Ryan's doing with it, and he's been recruiting hardcore. And I know they tried with some other coaches, and it's so hard because the program has to like work with the coaches. So I'm hoping, and it seems like from talking to Ryan, that the school is working with him, and I'm hoping it's going to go as good as he is kind of predicting it this year, to keep it growing.
Yeah, I had him on the pod, I don't know, a couple months ago. And he was like, "Wait until you see us in Daytona. Like, we're going to be ready. Wait until you see us in Daytona." And I was like, "All right, man. So we'll see. Coming up quick. Got a couple of months. We got 4 or 5 months to go. So, all right, man. So, Karma Returns. Did you start Karma Returns while you're still at HPU?
No. It was, I think, around 07. Well, yeah, I guess so. I was at HPU. And yeah, 07, I would have been there. And I remember calling my brother, and I was like, I think that like social media wasn't big then. I don't know if Facebook had just started, if it was just growing, but it wasn't like a thing. So I told my brother, I was like, I think we need to take advantage of like knowing all the people in the cheer industry and the college friends and all these talented athletes, like, and create something, one that like people all like and can believe in. And try to take advantage of it, while I'm still here. And so back then it was like, you remember Travis Parker's famous Stars and Straps?
Yep, for sure.
Loved that company. People, I believe, liked it because the word famous, they wanted to be famous. Pink had love. Everybody wanted the love stuff, or all the girls did. So I was like, I need to create something that everybody can believe in, regardless of where they're from. And I hit up one of my good friends, Frankie, back in Houston, who could draw and stuff. Like, I'm going to do Karma. Helped us create the logo, and we kind of pushed it from there.
So tell me about like kind of the philosophies behind the designs, because it was cutting edge. It honestly cutting edge. Like, dude, these don't look like cheer shirts. Actually, real quick, tell our audience what is for our audience living under a rock. Mostly the parents, I guess, wouldn't know what Karma Returns is. I'm guessing all the cheer people do. But tell everyone what Karma Returns actually is.
So Karma Returns, well, now it's probably more social media than what most people realize, but it's Karma Returns clothing. And we started making shirts for like HPU, SFA, then started progressing to the All-Star companies just to show them that we do kind of like a different style of shirt. Because the shirts back then were all like the university shirts, where it was like wipes. It was very bland. And then you were battling like shirts like Affliction, which was like almost too much crap on there. So we wanted to do more of a surf, skate kind of Hawaii brand, or, type of brand and type of feel, where it's just straight up like just what I learned out there, like good vibes, good energy, no negativity. And I wanted to share that with people and have them excited. The logo, it's going to be backwards on the camera or whatever, but it's a K in the middle and it's got two arrows going in a circle. So it's pretty much saying like what goes around comes around, the famous thing of karma. And so we built that, and then started to build, as social media came around, social media within YouTube. I wanted the world to know about it. We are talented. We got, people back then were so young that we sponsored, but like Whitney Love, Michael Guthrie, like some crazy talented people. We are good at what we do, and it is entertaining.
I'm letting everyone know the reason why the cheer industry has shirts the way we have them now, like these loud shirts, like these designs, like what we consider now, like that's a cheer shirt, is because of Karma Returns, because you guys brought that to the industry. And it was like, I remember those came out and it was like, dude, we got to get these. Like, Trisha, we've got to get these. These are some hot shirts, man. And so that was really cool. And you guys at Hawaii, we would show up at nationals, and you guys would have your prints, or you guys all had the freshest prints, because it, like you said, it had that like Hawaiian vibe. It's just like, man, those are fresh shirts, man. So good stuff. So tell me about how you moved more into social media.
So it did start to blow up, and Garen had his company, and Andrew had his company, Elusive, and they like really took it to a different level to get it even bigger and broader. Those two still are killing it to this day. But what was the next question? I'm sorry, Miss Kalachi's so good.
Social media. How do you take it to social media?
Oh, okay. So Facebook was just starting. You were able to put YouTube links on Facebook. So I wish that Instagram was starting kind of close to that too. And I wish, my biggest regret is I wish I would have pushed Karma on YouTube first, and then like put it on Instagram, because the monetization and all that. But I went straight to like Facebook, and I put it straight on Instagram and just started promoting. We didn't have camera phones, so I couldn't put it up like that. So like people like Roman would video and get all these videos and make the videos for us of like Whitney Love, and then I'd put it on YouTube, put it on Instagram, put it on Facebook, and try to start growing the sport. And then in the end, I would, of course, put like our new shirt that we sold, trying to like also market like the brand, which back then it was like everything was the logo pretty much. We just did a massive logo on the shirt, and then we would just have, of course, Karma Returns on it. And we just did that because I wanted people to see the logo and be like, holy crap, that's Karma Returns. And honestly, out of all the shirts we did, the logo shirts, the logo tanks and all that sold more than anything. To this day still, and all because of social media, honestly.
All right, so we do Karma Returns, but you decide that you want to get into the coaching game. So tell me about how you started coaching, and what's led you to where you are right now.
Okay, I got to remember that question because I just left something out. I just remembered it. Do you remember back on Instagram? Now it's called the Explorer page. It was called the Popular page.
Mm-hmm.
Way back in the day, they changed it, I guess, just to make everyone feel good about themselves. But back then, Karma's Instagram was popping so hard. It would be like on the Popular page, you would see like 8 to 16 tiles. Each tile was somebody on the Populars page, like pick or whatever video they put up. We would be next to like Ellen. And I remember once it was like Channing Tatum. And I was like, holy crap, this is like surreal. And we were getting back then like thousands of followers each day and week because of that. And it was cool because I was like, in my head, I was like, yo, we're about to blow up. We're about to go worldwide. I'm going to hang out with Pitbull.
Yeah.
Like we're about to blast off. But they took it away because of the, I guess, everyone wants to be popular. Everybody gets a medal, make everyone happy, which kind of sucked. But that's where I think the most growth happened with Karma is when we do our videos that I was about, but they would make it to the popular page and then it just blew up to an audience that we never knew existed.
Yep. Yeah, for sure. It was like, for those new to Instagram, it was kind of like being on someone's For You page, like on TikTok. I guess it's still the Explore page, but it was because no one could get on it. I was like, you would only see these huge mega people on that page right there. You're like, oh man, like, I guess these are who the popular people are, right? So, all right. So let's fast forward to coaching. How'd you get into coaching?
So I think I was 17 and we started doing like cheer power camps. Everybody did NCAA back then, but for whatever reason, cheer power was just what like my group of friends did. So we did some cheer power camps and I started coaching the high schools, kind of helping with the high schools at Texas Cheer. Me and one of my best friends, Jairus, did. And we started doing that. And then we wanted to be better coaches. So we started coming to the all-star practices at Texas All-Star Cheer and kind of watching and helping. And then it kind of like Sean just kind of had given us a job at 18 to be a coach there. And so it really was just because Jairus and I would help the high schools and then go to the all-star practices for free to start like trying to help and listen to how like Bryson coached, how Chris and how Mike coached, Casey and all them, and just kind of learn from them and start like.
There we go. And then what about after you left HPU, after you graduated, how did you get into coaching then? Like, how did that whole thing roll out?
I was at HPU for 3 years and then I graduated, and, being in HPU, and at that point I was freaking in college for 6 years. So I was like, you know what, I'm going to stay 1 year and just like enjoy the island, like have fun and just not worry about school since I graduated. So I stayed 1 more year. In that year, I have no idea what I'm going to do with my life, like have no idea what my job is going to be. And I still really, really, really liked coaching. Like when I would go home for summer and from Hawaii, I would coach some teams in the summer and then do a crap ton of lessons and classes. So I stayed relevant at Texas Cheer, but I think it was that last year, 2009, before I was like trying to figure out what I was going to do. And I was talking to Sean, the owner, and he had offered me a job. And I was like, I think that's what I want to do. So I ended up, once I moved back, I just went back to Texas Cheer and got on the grind of coaching teams again and just have been going ever since.
Yeah, man. So you gotta tell me, Texas Cheer, one of the big dogs in the state, in the country, what happened?
They stopped selling Dr. Pepper in the Coke machine. Whole thing went down.
I have no idea if that's true or not. It sounds like, no, this is a crazy story. It's really what happened.
No, okay, so Woodlands was always like our prime competitor back then. And we were always battling them. They had generals. We had red. And it was good. It was like a good little camaraderie. And I don't know. It was just like kids changed with how they wanted to be coached. Kids changed how they were, their work ethic. And I don't know. I had some friends that worked at Prodigy. I had some friends that worked at Woodlands and a couple even at ASR. And it just seemed like Woodlands was just growing more and more. And for me, Sean was like my uncle. I loved Sean and loved Bryson, and David had worked there back then too, but it just didn't seem like it was like going up. And Jairus and I had met often and talked about it, and we were going to leave 1 year. I had met with Alan, and Jairus and I ended up staying. And then that next year, there were just some decisions made that Jairus and I didn't agree with. We were coaching Red and Red Eye and all that. And when we came back from NCAA, we had all these ideas. And then we got kind of taken off of the teams, like of their 3 days of practice. We were put on one. We didn't really have say in what was happening. They got a brand new routine weeks before Worlds, which I thought was absolutely insane. Like, who does that? And it was like it was just a crap show at Worlds, and really so. So at that point, I was just like, okay, I need to continue, what I'm trying to do and learning and all that, and made the change to Woodlands, and he went to Prodigy, or he went to Cheer Nation and Prodigy.
So how was that transition? What was it like transitioning over to Woodlands?
It was tricky at first because I'd been in Texas since like '99. So like, those are family members. I'd at that point coached people for 15 something years or something, 10, 12, 15 years. Of course, some people were like let down. They're like, oh my God, you're going to the enemy. You're like, you're leaving your family. But it was hard because, some of them were in college. Some of them were kids. Some of them didn't understand the everything behind it. And I'm not the type to talk and bring other people down either. So I was just like, this is the best decision for me. It took me 2 years to make the decision. Like, I want to grow. I want to work with athletes that like want to work their butt off. And it just, it just kind of worked out that way. It was hard at first, definitely. And people weren't the happiest with me or Jairus, but in the long run, it was like the best decision that we could have ever made.
Yeah. Dude, good for you, man. Gotta make decisions for yourself, man. I hear that. All right, here we go. So, Texas, but Houston specifically really reminds me of, cheer in California, right? It's just one of these places where it's just, it's competitive for sure, especially in Houston. You already named them. ASR, Prodigy, you guys are out there. So tell me about what it's like to have such, high quality competition right down the road every single day.
Oh man, it's a very good question because, like I'd said before, all of my best friends worked at all of the gyms. So like we would try to beat each other down at competitions, and then we'd go have dinner after, and then or we'd go to our family birthday parties or whatever. So because it was like Tristan, it was Jairus, it was Tremaine, it was Justin Noble, it was all these different best friends that we have, Justin Abear, Justin File, but like we all were close, so it wasn't like a negative thing at all. But as kind of time went on, it like started to get a little negative within some of the gyms. And I don't know even if it's getting better now or not. It's hard to tell. I think everyone just kind of sticks to themselves. But it's an insane market down here. Like ASR has completely proven they are like amazing with those lower levels. They're like robots. Like I can't, like, I don't know how they get their legs so pretty in their back walkovers. They're Edgar and what they've done down there are absolutely murdering it. And I love watching them because I coached like a level 2 and a level 1 before, and I was not able to get them. So I'm like, y'all are angels. Outside of that, yeah, we kind of just stick to ourselves. I'm not the type either. Some people I know that I work with like want to know how the teams did right before we compete. And like my wife knows, like she probably won't text me and tell me because I don't want to know. It doesn't like, I don't want to like change what I'm going to tell them or like, them change or something. I don't care about what people do before us. And I don't know. We just kind of stick to ourselves now.
Yeah. Dude, it's crazy, man. I'm glad to hear you stick it to yourself because I feel like I try to stick to myself out here in California. We're in Bakersfield, which is like 2 hours north of Los Angeles. So there's all the teams down there in Southern California. And, there's normal cheer drama. And every so often I hear about stuff that happens. And I'm like, oh, that's happening down there in Southern Cali, huh? Well, we're just up here in Bakersfield. Life's easier when you just stick to yourself. So because, you hear wild things about Texas cheer, especially in the Houston area. I'm like, man, what's going on down there in Texas? So, all right. Glad you're keeping your nose to the grind.
Let's push the question to you. What of lately had you heard that was so wild? And then I can maybe address it or laugh at it.
Dude, I just hear, and again, I stay out of the drama. I stay out of it. So like our coaches will hear stuff and like, I heard this happen. I think I heard something about someone not signing a waiver to release someone. I think I heard that. And I don't know who did what. Okay, so go ahead, expand on that.
So that was a big deal. So we had a girl, sweet girl, was at our gym for a while, ended up going to, let's just say, another gym, just so I can be sweet. And I think she competed at like a small, like it was either a 1 day or something not big, and competed with us forever the rest of the year. It was on my non-tumble GI Janes, and they had a great year. They won NCA. They were like top 2 to win at World's top 3, and potentially would have won. And the opposing gym waited till like after day 1 to go tattletale, which is hysterical. Yeah, which like I don't know. It's sad because that team their team that they had wasn't going to compare to James, so it was kind of stupid. But I would have preferred it as like you said it in warm-ups, and like then we're frantically trying to find someone for warm-ups. And that, so at least the kids have a chance, and like some of them were seniors, and we have potential of winning. Like I don't get the play and like what it benefited them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like there's no like the kids now dislike your gym even more, so you're not going to get those kids. Like the industry now knows, and it was talked about all over ASJ. It's kind of quite comical to watch. It was just, I was like, this is idiotic. Like, why would you? It just makes no sense. But some people are inspired by other things. So it is what it is. We learned our lesson from it as Woodlands, and are trying to be better about that and not let anything ever like that happen again. But that's where a little bit of the cutthroatness of the Houston industry is. It's like win with talent. You don't have to win doing some like shady crap. But
dude, I feel you, man. Dude, I feel you, man. Sorry to hear that. It's wild. All right, so tell me about Woodlands Elite, man. What makes y'all's different? What why is it so great to be there?
I was thinking about this question last night too. I think most of the world knows Woodlands for their tumbling. We have great tumbling coaches. We really push them. You'll see young kids doing some crazy elite tumbling. You'll see older kids who do some crazy elite tumbling. We've had like some iconic teams and some iconic kids that like are legends in the sport. So I feel like first thing is our tumbling. It's what we're known for. Second thing that stands out, I think, for us is every gym has passionate coaches. Every gym has coaches that work hard. I think we're really good at that. We meet often. We go over each team. The directors meet about every single team and try to help them. We all try to like watch videos together and support, which I know a lot of gyms do that. So I guess that doesn't make us different in that sense. But I don't know. The kids still want to work hard. To me, it's like they are trying to still be the best. Like whether they're trying to be as good as like a Caroline Day or a Carly Wheeler or some of those legends of Grant. They have people to look up to who they're pushing to be that were on those dream teams of theirs. So I feel like in our program, the kids start at the bottom and they work their way up to try to reach the success that some of those athletes have done.
Yeah. And so you're coaching, you already mentioned GI Janes, you coach the J6 Colonels, and then you coach the 5-star Generals. Let's go. All right. So
was tatted on the neck. Well, maybe
let's go. All right. So tell me, what's it like? You coach one of the most iconic teams in the industry. How is that?
It's awesome, man. It was my first year at Woodlands was 16, 17, something like that. And the team then was the iconic small senior generals with the 3 bounce backs at Worlds. Do you remember that? 3 girls do bounce backs, 2 girls do standing to double whip doubles. I believe that there will probably not be an all-girl team again for a long time that will reach the stature of what those girls did. That team obviously was great, but like all of them obsessed about like details. If a judge said we need to do something day 1, they like obsessed about it and tried to fix it day 2. Every single girl on the team, if I was like put your pinky toe on the outside of the line, they would make sure the rest of the year. They're like work ethic, their talent, and their sheer like knowledge was beyond anything. And so for that to be my first year, and we should have won Worlds, we ended up getting screwed at Worlds, but that was an amazing team. And still to this day, I think what we're trying to push the industry to get to, but I I don't know if it ever will again. I mean, that was just bounce backs, and we really had two of them. It was Carly and Caroline were doing Arabian and double bounce backs, and then a girl, Bree Harris, over spring break, which level 6 athletes don't come back with skills during spring break. That's not what they do. And she had texted us and texted me and Kevin. She was like, "Hey, I got a bounce back." I'm like, "Okay, cool." But we thought it was a full bounce back. Girl goes and does down the center. They do the Arabian double bounce back. She does a double bounce back, and they all double together. It was like chills still talking about it. It was just unbelievable. But just for gens in general, they work hard. It's like a lot of the kids that have been there forever, and they work their way up there through the J6s and all that. And we try to make them all around to the best of our ability. And they had a good weekend last weekend. They got a full paid bid at Encore. So we were super proud of them. It's awesome, man. Our J6, they're always the premier team that builds, should I say, our Worlds programs. So it's like we know how hard we have to coach them and get them mentally stronger and get their skills up. So then that way, when they go into the recons, the Black Ops, the GI Janes, the Generals, Bombshells and Katie, whatever, that they're ready for it. And then with James, man, they're just an entity themselves, man. They're a special team because it's they're non-tumble and they stunt straight 2 minutes, and they those girls love cheerleading. They're the only team I've ever seen, and it's usually every year, that will go in the warm-ups and cheer on the opposing team to on. Even if if James had a crappy competition and drops, they'll still go to the warm-ups and they'll go yell for him. They're just the sweetest girls that love cheerleading, love working hard, and their success last year and hopefully, knock on wood, this year.
So real quick, I got to go back to that bounce back pass. So I don't watch a whole lot of cheer. I watch teams that we compete against, but I don't really watch a whole ton of Worlds teams unless it's NCA or it's actually Worlds, right? And so we go to Worlds that year. And, we're sitting in, the coach's little box or whatever, we're watching. And, our coaches are super fans though, right? They keep up with everything. They know exactly what's going on in the cheer world. And so I remember watching you guys, and you guys get to the bounce backs, and, the whole crowd erupts. And one of the coaches next to me is like, "They added another one. They added another one." It's I guess they only had 2 before.
I'm that person. I watch it. I'm
yeah.
Did you see what they just did? They upgraded. That's my favorite. Yeah, that makes me happy that people notice that too. Because they made it look so easy that it looked like, oh, that wasn't that big of a deal. And I'm like, do you know what they just did?
Yeah, for sure. So yeah, I had to let you know. Actually, fun fact: he's actually coaching at Prodigy now. That same guy. He used to coach for us out here. His name's Trayvon.
Is that your friend Trayvon? No. Okay. Sorry. Well, shout out to Trayvon for the love. That's awesome.
There you go. All right, man. So, tell me about, we already talked, it's gotta be great coaching all these teams. But tell me, what's the hardest part about coaching at Woodlands Elite, coaching Generals, coaching GI Janes, these teams?
I work with really good, talented coaches. So it's trying to make sure that I stay at their level. There's so many of them, and I won't be able to name them all, but Jess is so good at what she does and her structure, and she's able to go in the office and put it all on paper and bring it out, and I'm the opposite. I'm visual. So I always look up to how she can just do that. And if we need to make some sort of choreography change but don't have time to get a choreographer, she can do it on paper and then have it done. And she does it so quickly, and the kids watch her and listen to her like robots. I always look up to her for that. Kevin is great at what he does. It's his demand for attention and the best from the kids is amazing. And he's great at another thing that I'm not, which is music stuff. He can hear things that I can't hear. He can see things sometimes that I can't. It's just working. Tara's great at getting the kids to just love whatever they're trying to coach. It's just everyone there has their own thing that they're good at. And it's things that I might not be good at. And I just want to stay at their level. So it's a fun competitiveness, and to work alongside some of the most talented, in my opinion, coaches. So it keeps me trying to be good.
I feel that. Yeah, for sure. All right, man. So give me a story. These are always great. Give me a story about winning Worlds, winning NCA. Just give me a good one.
Well, okay, so I haven't won Worlds yet. Should have multiple times, but that 2017 bounce back year, we got screwed, so we should have won. But I've won NCAA a decent amount of times, thank God. That 2017 year was epic. We had the bounce backs. Just for me, I grew up and you grew up where the Super Bowl for us was NCAA. So like to watch the crowd erupt like they did during that routine and to see them do all of that. And back then it was like Generals and SSX were like head to head. That was one of my favorite wins because those girls just worked so hard. I knew how iconic that team was going to be in the future. So that win was amazing. And that was my first NCAA win coaching a level 6 and my first year, excuse me, at Woodlands. So that was probably one of the best moments for sure. Worlds wise, we've been so close multiple times. And so I haven't won it yet. I've got a crap ton of second places that I'm proud of. But hopefully this will be our year. I got a good feeling about it.
This is the year. What division are we in this year?
Oh God, I'm going to mess it up. So we switched because we graduated so many kids. We were like, okay, we need to figure out like, how can we still be talented? And we did graduate probably more than we thought we were. So what are we going to do? Do we stay in medium? Do we go back to small? Like, do we want to do that? So ended up to where our medium senior was probably one of the best things that we were, in my opinion. I really was like, I don't know if I was small was my favorite because it was so freaking competitive, like beyond competitive, but medium was great. I don't know. So we ended up switching it to senior open level 6 and I love it. I love it.
There you go.
Yeah. 24 is the max that you can have in that division. It's a good division so far. I'm excited to meet some of the teams that we haven't competed against. So it's a cool new division for us.
All right, here we go. Calling it now. Senior open level 6. Generals. Let's go. Let's make it happen.
It's happening. My wife's gonna let me get another tattoo if we do. Like, I'm super stoked.
Let's make it happen, man. Yeah, that happened at CBU. I always used to joke with the girls when I was coaching college, like, hey, if we win NCAA, we'll get PGS tattoos, which are our letters, right? We'll all get PGS tattoos. And so it was always this joke, when we were still a couple years out from it. And, we won, right? We win that first NCAA title and we're all pumped, we're happy. And the girls were like, Coach, we're getting tattoos. I'm like, tattoos. So, dude, we're in Daytona Beach and we, they have all those tattoo shops like right by the Hilton. And so we decide we're going to go and we hop in, we walk across the street, go, and we're like, hey, we're gonna get these tattoos. And so they, we sign up and all this stuff, sign the waivers. And then they go, hey, well, it's actually illegal to get tattoos in Daytona Beach. So we got to take you. I'm telling you, they put us in these vans like those big white Ford vans, right? I thought they were kidnap us. They put us in these vans and we drive to some other city. I'm coaching the team right now. I'm thinking I'm getting fired. I'm 100% getting fired. And because they took us in these vans and we, drove who knows how long to some random city, not Daytona Beach. And we all got, PGS, Passion God Success tattoos. And and then became a tradition. We actually had a kid on the team whose dad owned a tattoo shop. So then he started doing them in the rooms. And now I think they do them like once they get back to California. But yeah, so it was a long-standing tradition of getting tattoos.
I love that. That's freaking awesome. And
scary. Yeah, man. So we had some questions, dude. Telling you. All right, so we had some questions sent into the podcast that I feel like you would be good at answering these. So we have one from Julia, and Julia says, "How do you humble an overly confident athlete?"
Oh, that's a good question. I always refer back to that 2017 year. They were hitting routines at practices left and right. I mean, Kevin looked at each other and I think he was like, what do we do? And I'm like, we got to get the jumps better. We got to dance better. We got to make their technique better. So it's like, you could be great at stunning and you could be great at tumbling, but like, there's still so many other categories on the score sheet that like most likely they're not great at or not perfect at. to where like then I'll zone in on that and try to like bring them back down to reality. Like, okay, you're great at whatever, tumbling, spinning, or both, but like your jumps aren't, or your performance isn't, or your dance, whatever, and try to get them to focus on that. Because sometimes it's just people like that, usually that stature, like a challenge, and calling them out in that sort of way usually tends to help, I believe.
Yeah, no, it's good. Yeah, and I can imagine that you get, lots of very talented athletes. And, when I coached at CBU, we were getting everyone's. Actually, we had Ashley Brown. Did you ever coach Ashley Brown?
I believe, yes, Ashley Brown. Yeah, she was general.
Yeah. So, yeah, we had her. But, right, we were getting like these kids from, we get kids from Generals. Or we got Ashley Brown. I think she's the only one from Generals. But, but we'd get kids from Generals or Lady Bullets or, whoever, like all these like big gyms. And some of them come with egos, right? And you're like, dude, like, I know you were great at your old place and you're super talented, but yeah, it's like one of those things you have to, although coaching talented athletes it makes your job easier in some ways. There are definitely its challenges, because they can do anything you want as far as, skill is concerned, but, sometimes, attitude isn't always there. So you have to like learn how to coach kids with egos and try to get everyone on the same page and buy into culture and all those good things. All right, here we go. So our next question is from Anna. How do you keep your flyers emotional well-being safe when they keep hearing comments about weight and size? It seems that we keep pushing younger and younger flyers on higher level teams when they all lack body control just because they are small. So let's go. I saved that question for you.
Oh my God, that's a great question, Anna. I think it's tough. Each team is different, I think the sport of cheerleading has been pushing our younger kids to get up to these world's teams because that's like the epitome of the top of the sport. So I've said it this year before because, yeah, you always hear that sort of stuff, whether they're having a bad stunning day or something. And even with like the general flyers, because all of our general flyers tumble and fly and usually do everything, like we have more muscle. So if there ever was a comment like that, Anna, if you are the flyer or the base or whatever, I would say the opposite and just challenge the bases. Maybe you're just not strong enough. Like it's easier for someone to get stronger than it is for them to just get smaller. And I don't know. I don't like that because it's always been a thing in our sport of like where some sort of disorders could come up because of saying things like that. And we obviously don't want that. I don't want that at all. I hate that. I promote health. I have like workout stuffs that I send and sometimes sell to the world and like wanting my athletes to make sure they're eating right. They're in peak performance shape, but like you can't be like in peak performance. You can't be like have your body ready for these excruciating hard routines if you're not eating healthy and you're not on top of your game. So I hate when people say that like you're too heavy. Maybe you're just not strong enough or your technique's not that good. How about that?
Yeah. I heard that. Let's go, man. Yeah, I figure that's something, especially with as many kids as you guys have. You guys deal with all of these issues on a large scale, not on a large scale, but it comes up enough where you're like, dude, I've got to be ready to handle. Like we've all heard it enough, right? Where you hear it from this parent or from this kid or whatever. So yeah, good advice. Yeah. Speaking of advice, not every coach that listens to the pod coaches a team on generals level, right? GI Janes, right? So give some advice to our new coaches, or what's some of the best advice that you've gotten that's like stuck with you over the years?
Like of just in coaching, just like, let's say the non-world teams and stuff.
Just coaching in general, just any, what's just some good advice that you've gotten that has stuck with you over the years that you want to pass on to other coaches?
I think you just got to find like what you're good at. Like, I don't know. It's like, I know that seeing the world's teams and stuff like that is amazing. And maybe that's the level that they set that they want to reach. But like my old roommate, we were all teaching at Texas doubles. And I was like, hey, if you teach the front walkover and back walkover, you'll get 10 times as many privates and kids and you'll make way more money than we do. And now he owns that gym where Texas Cheer used to be. He owns it as a tumbling gym and is successful. It's like I told Kelley at SSX one year, I think we were at Cheer Sport, and I was talking to her and some of her staff. And I said, if everybody, it's kind of I have some weird analogies. It's kind of what I'm known for. But if everybody's trying to be a science teacher, like the world's, coaches, then who's going to teach math? Who's going to teach, English? It's like, I don't know. I mean, I maybe it's the people they look up to. So those coaches want to be like them. It's just, there has to be everything. Like, I love watching a good level 2. Like, I love watching, because I can't do it. I'm not, my talent is not teaching the back walkovers and all that. And I'm not the best at it. And that's okay. Because I think you got to have coaches that can do everything. You have to have an offensive line coach, a defensive line coach. You have to have a quarterback coach. You have to have specific coaches for every single thing. And it's great if you're all around. Like, that's amazing, because it is hard to be all around in our sport. But there are some that can do, from level 1 to level 6. I'm not one of those people where that is where my talent lies. I wish, but I think you just have to find opportunity, find where your passion is, and find what you're good at, and then stick with it. And then you always just got to remind yourself too, this is a sport where we coach kids. We're like not only coaching kids, but often I've heard for 20 something years now from parents, I pick my kid up from school. I see them for that 20 minutes. I drop them off with you. They go at practice, all that stuff. I get them at night for that 20-minute drive. They go home and shower and do homework and eat dinner and go to bed. So we, as the coaches, are seeing the kids more than the parents are. So it's like what we say to these kids is going to, it's like, it's helping them grow up. So it's like, how do you want your kid to be raised? Because you're technically like helping some of these parents raise these kids. So it's like trying to be the best coach and mentor that you can be for them to look up to as they, get done with cheer one day.
Dude, good stuff, man. I love that. Good stuff, man. Yeah, and it's so coaches. I just gotta say that again. Coaches, we are. I mean, he said we're like helping, like we're raising these kids, right? They're in the gym. Excuse me, but they're in the gym with us all day long, and the things we say and do have a major impact on the people that they become. And I always try to tell our parents, like our new parents, especially when the athletes come in, like we're trying to reinforce the values that you're trying to teach at home, and that's like our job and duty as coaches. Good stuff, Matt. Love it. All right. So here we go. Let's hop into these last 4 questions. So what needs to start, stop, or change in the industry? You can answer just one of them. If you're feeling froggy, you can answer all 3.
It's easy and vague to say gym hopping, but I feel like I've wrote it before, and I know that sometimes as kids get older, the teams that are at the gym might just not be for them. But I ask parents often, are you focusing on short-term happiness or long-term? Is this decision you're making for them going to be the long-term success for them? Like, are they going to be happy in the long run? Are they, or is it just it's out of spite, or you're doing it to make the kid happy for that moment or for that season? And I think what it's turning into is like parents' relationships with the kids are most important over some of these long-term things. Like, so, I mean, I could take a Tiger Woods, but like the example I just gave, that would not happen with Tiger Woods. It's the long-term success. It is focused on like what's going to make this athlete the best they can. And I get it. We're not in a sport that does professional where you can make millions and millions like the LeBron Jameses and Tiger Woods and all them. And hopefully we'll get there one day. But I would love, I don't care what they do. I just would love for parents to think about that. Like, do you want your kid to be happy and that's why you're making some of these decisions, like short term, or is it long term happiness? There's no way to get around this because I guess it's just newer for our sport, but it's been the same, I guess, in the music industry. But the anons, the Twitter anons, the Twitter fingers, it's like music industry has always had that, right? If you're reading Rolling Stones and you're reading a music review, but at least after that terrible review about my album that came out, it's like written by JasonLarkins. So it's like there's clarity and there's someone you can relate it to. And then you can reach out to Jason and be like, so what? I saw your article, but like, what was so bad about it? Well, like you can reach out to someone when you don't have a face, a name, and you're just behind cheer cartwheel 3298. Like it's so hard to like respect it. If you don't got thick skin, and a lot of these kids I don't think do, it's like you're hearing them say the meanest things. And they do it to adults too, or they do it about teens and like all this stuff. And you have no idea what they're going through. You have no idea what that kid or athlete's going through at home. Like you can just say whatever and have no repercussions is not something that I have grown up in, not in the environment I came from, not where I want people to come from. And I just hate that. I don't know if there's a way around it. I wish Elon Musk could change it to where like you could always find out people's real names. So they have to stand behind what they say. Cause it's like, yeah, if for me, Matt McGrath was one of my favorite cheerleaders ever, good friend of mine. If he had something to say about my routine or like how I coached or like, let's say what I did as a tumbling pass as an athlete, I would love to hear it. And I would like listen to it and be like, okay, Matt McGrath said this, like people I respect, Victor Rosario, like just Kristen, like I want to hear things from people I respect. So like you can take it with a grain of salt of like, okay, they said it. I really look up to them. I'm going to go ahead and try to focus on fixing what they said I didn't do well. Or, Whip Double 1738 said this about me, then, you just let it go. So I wish that was less, but I don't know if there's a way around that, honestly. So it's just maybe as an athlete, getting thicker skin and not paying attention to the negatives from people that don't have names.
No, I feel you, man. And it's hard because you hear that noise. I actually got off of Twitter. I got off of Twitter during quarantine. Twitter was getting too toxic for me. So I was like, I gotta get off of this thing. So I haven't been on Twitter in a while. But no, but I hear you, man. Like people, that's why at the Let's Talk to Your podcast, you already know who's behind everything. So everything I say,
Yeah.
I stand behind. I might regret
exactly.
something one day, but
I mean,
anyway.
I'm with you. I do the same. If I say something, I say it all the time. I mean, but yeah, I feel you, bro.
All right, here we go, Matt. So we already did this one, or we didn't already do this one. You already cleared up one narrative, but if there's another one, is there another rumor, myth, or narrative that you want to debunk right now?
I don't know of any rumors, myths, or narratives. I can't think of any happening. I mean, I'm like you. I look at Twitter for the positives, and I've blocked all like anything that comes negative. So I don't really. It's almost filtered, so I don't really see the negatives. But I don't know if there's any narratives or anything like that. I think it's, knock on wood again. I think it's all positive right now. So I can't think of anything unless if you have something on your mind that you can help me remember or think of. Help.
No, that was a good one. The one you said earlier about the waiver, that was good. I feel like that was a really good one.
Okay, cool. Yeah, and I was wondering how I was going to bring it up or how I was going to talk about it and all that. And, because I don't want to like slander someone, but like also the world knows about it. So I, was okay with talking about it and not still being, a
for
jerk.
Sure. All right, Matt. So give me this. Who else should we have on the show?
I think you probably have already had him, but he's just so funny. Garen, you had Garen on the show?
I have not had Garen on the show. That's actually a good one.
I think Garen Gosnell would be hilarious. He's everyone's dad, he's all of our dads. He was our coach at HPU. We cheered together on Cheetahs. He's just always been forever and ever funny to me. And also like, I think a pioneer in the t-shirt game, and he does way more than that now. I think that actually, this is great. He is someone that is making it in the cheer world, somewhat in cheer and somewhat outside. And I think that's important. Like I'm, working on trading Forex and cryptos and all that type of stuff and indices because I want to figure out a way, because we know coaching and cheer is like being a teacher. You know that you're going to, the average salary and where you can cap out. And that's it. It's not like this open-ended where you can make millions or hundreds of thousands in a year. It's like, you're doing it for the kids and for whatever reasons, and you're capped out. I'm trying my hardest to get good at that stuff and get systems in place to where like you can be a head coach or you can be a coach at the age of 23 and make whatever it is, the average salary there. And then also on the side, do this and live a life that you like can do your vacations and provide for your family or have whatever dream car you have. So it's like Garen's one of those entrepreneurs that I think more people in the cheer industry need to hear, because a lot of kids want to be coaches because of who they were raised by coaches or how much they looked up to them. But also too, they see from social media, like, I want that car, I want that vacation, I want that dream home. Well, it's really tough to get that in our sport, being what we do. So like people that are great at entrepreneurial stuff that came from cheer in a major way, I think he would be a great one to speak up on that too.
There we go. All right, good. That's actually really good. I would have never have thought to had Garen on the show, but that's actually a really good one. We cheered together. We actually did one. We didn't really cheer together. We had someone get hurt right before Daytona, and he came in and did the elite. So we threw a basket together.
Oh,
All right. If people want to follow you online, whether it's anything you want to plug, how can people follow you online? Stay in touch with you.
So my main thing now is I'll go over my Instagrams, Matt Freakin Kelley, and it's Freakin, so no G. That's where I put like most of my tumbling videos, workouts, drills, my daughter, family and stuff like that. The clothing lines, I try to stay posting every day, every other day. We have Karma Returns, one word, which is just like superior athletes, amazing videos all around the world, kind of just entertainment. And then some of our clothes, of course. And then Karma Fails is just kind of like an entertaining one as well. Just like not just cheer fails, just fails mostly of flipping. And I don't post anything breaking or anything because I hate watching people break stuff, but I think it's entertaining. So Karma Fails. Outside of that, if you find me on my regular Instagram, Matt Freakin Kelley, I'll be able to get back to people, and I answer questions all the time and people send me videos. If you want to send me videos, and I can critique the tumbling. Some of the coaches will ask me drills or how I do stuff, and I feel like me and my friend Justin Fowler at Woodlands, we teach tumbling differently than most industries, so we can help kind of, hopefully, because it's one of the things we're really good at, help y'all with that. So you can reach out whenever you want.
There we go. If you don't follow any of the people, all three of those channels are great. If you don't follow them already, all three. Matt's personal is great. Karma Returns, Karma Fails. Which one has more followers, Karma Returns or Karma Fails?
Karma Returns has more, but Karma Fails gets more views. Like it'll do like 450 to like 4 million views a month just because it's people like watching fails.
Yeah, like cause you just want to keep watching it over and over again. Yeah, for sure. So all three are great. Matt, you've been an awesome guest. You're welcome back anytime.
Dude, thanks for having me, Jason. I appreciate it.
For sure. Hey, Let's Talk Cheer podcast listeners. Although this episode has come to an end, there are a few other cheer podcasts out there that you can add to your weekly routine. If you're a gym owner or gym director and want to dive more into the business side of things, then check out the Connecting People and Profits podcast with host Dan Cotton. If you're a former cheerleader and want to hear the success stories from other former cheer athletes after their cheering days are done, then you'd love the Life After Cheer podcast with host Danielle Donovan. And if you're a cheer parent and need another cheer parent to relate to and want to hear things from a cheer mom's perspective, then the Cheer Mom podcast is for you. Check one of them out, check them all out, and we'll see you guys next week. Thanks for watching the Let's Talk Cheer podcast. Definitely subscribe so you never miss out on anything from the show.